The NHL's best scorer is currently these playoffs' worst shooter. Mark Masters, I can't believe I'm saying that, but here are the facts. Since he came into the league, no one scored more goals than Auston Matthews, but right now, no forward has missed the net more than Matthews in these playoffs. Mark, what are you seeing right now?
Well, he is, I think, the best goal scorer since he's come into the league, but he wasn't the best goal scorer this season, right? He battled that upper body injury, career low in terms of goals during the regular season. So perhaps we should not be surprised. It's been a bit of a struggle for Auston Matthews to put the puck in the net in the playoffs. Of course, he missed a practice in the first round series. He missed a morning skate here ahead of game 4. So I would have to say he's probably not 100%. I guess no one is at this time of year, but, you know, he was the only player, the only regular to miss that skate yesterday coming off a day off. So you do wonder about, you know, physically where he's at. And yeah, you know, Craig Berube is pointing out he's doing a lot of other good things. You know, it's not just scoring, right? In this league, they need him to take on tough matchups, kill penalties, win faceoffs. He is doing a lot of good things, but, you know, we expect Auston Matthews to score. That's a reputation that he has built during his time in the league, and it just hasn't happened for him. But Gino, it really didn't happen for him very easily in the regular season either.
That's true. That's true. So now what is the question? Speaking of things I can't believe I'm saying, Matthews and Marner have had huge success playing together. They love playing together. But with just 3 goals in his last 20 games for Auston Matthews and not a single goal against Florida, Berube split them a little up last game. Should he split them up even more, or could that just make a bad situation worse, Mark?
Yeah, Craig Berube he's been patient and he's been calm, right? Like, he's been stressing composure with his team. He doesn't like to panic. He's really not made a lot of big lineup changes this entire, you know, playoff run here. So even though he did go away from Matthews and Marner together for a few shifts there in the third period last night, I don't think he's going to do it again. I don't think we're going to show up to practice tomorrow and see Auston Matthews and Mitch Marner on different lines. We didn't really see it in the regular season, even when they went through some tough stretches, and they didn't really have long losing streaks. They were pretty consistent, but it did not feel like something that Berube liked to do, and I just don't see him doing it now. But there's no doubt he's trying to get a little bit more from these guys. Mitch Marner has now gone 2 games without a shot on goal. And Berube said today that is not good enough. He's looking to make the beautiful play, the perfect play. He's looking to upgrade his opportunity. He's just got to get pucks on net. That's how he scored the game winner in game 2. That was his last shot. So they want Mitch Marner to do a better job just being more direct, getting pucks to net, and that should help Auston Matthews as well. Not to say that Matthews can't do more too, but those guys together have to help each other. They'll go back to Toronto. Craig Berube will have the last change. Actually, that's probably going to make life tougher maybe for Matthews and Marner, because they're likely to see Alexander Barkov. If anything, it'll make life a bit easier for William Nylander and John Tavares, who will get away from Barkov and Sam Reinhart, who have been the Selke Trophy nominees this season. But yeah, the Leafs are looking to get more from Matthews and Marner. I just don't see them splitting them up.
All right, news of the day, Domi got fined $5,000 for the hit from behind on Barkov at the end of last night's game. This morning, Berube said the Kulgov's hit on Marner was 10 times worse. But it doesn't look like the league is going to do anything about that. The Leafs are just getting dragged into this physical play, or are they actually initiating it themselves? Is there any reason to think this could work, or is that plan going down the wrong path, Mark?
So interesting start to the media availability today with Craig Berube, because I simply asked him, you know, what was his perspective on what happened with Domi and Barkov at the buzzer, and he kind of said, listen, you know, the league handles that. I don't think anything's going to come from it. And then another reporter tried to jump in and just ask a follow-up question, because, you know, there was a pause there, and Berube kind of continued on with his answer, because clearly it was on his mind, and he said, you know, in his mind, the Dmitry Kulikov elbow to the head of Mitch Marner was 10 times worse. So clearly planting a seed there to the officials moving forward. Keep an eye on Kulikov. Protect the stars here. Make sure that video gets replayed a little bit, and that's on people's minds. And then I asked him as a follow-up just what he makes of the temperature rising in this series, because certainly it feels like the Panthers' MO is more the dark arts and all that. And he said that his team's handling it fine. In fact, they were the more physical team in Game 4, and certainly the hits show that the Leafs had an edge in hits by about 7 more than Florida in Game 4. So I'm not sure the Panthers see it that way, but it's interesting because I think Berube is sending a message both to the officials moving forward and to his own team that we are fine with this. You know, we are initiating, we are doing a good job with the physicality. No need for us to get upset or whatever about the physicality here. We're fine. We're comfortable in this spot. We knew it was coming. We knew this series was going to veer into the nastiness. I think we all knew that, and Berube wants to make sure everyone knows his team is fine with that. In fact, he thinks they're handling it quite well.
But Mark, that's my question. I don't understand that. I don't understand. This Toronto Maple Leafs team is a team that's based on a tremendous skill set. More talent individually, I believe, than the Florida Panthers, who are the better, more physical team. So why go down that path of trying to go physical on physical rather than just say, we'll be the skill players. You want to get physical, take the penalties, we'll take the power plays. I don't understand that, Mark.
Well, listen, the Leafs have been a very high-end skilled team for a lot of years in the playoffs, and it hasn't worked out. And they've brought in some different personnel, and I think if you're going to have success in the playoffs, you are going to have to win different ways. And, yes, obviously it'd be nice if the power play was able to convert, and they did not convert last night in the game, which is an issue that Berube brought up today and something they're going to work on ahead of Game 5. But you have to win this way, Gino. I don't know what to say. The Florida Panthers are the Stanley Cup champs for a reason. This is how they play, and the Leafs have to hang in there. They have to give it back. They have to keep their composure. And yes, as we already touched on, they need Auston Matthews and Mitch Marner and their high-end guys to play through it and produce, likely to win this series. And William Nylander seemed pretty, he didn't, Matthew Tkachuk's getting in his ear and saying, I'm coming for you next game. Brad Marchand tried to go after Nylander when the series was in Toronto. I don't sense Nylander getting too worried about that. I don't think he's going to get too rattled. In fact, he said the next game's going to be fun, and I think that's the right attitude. I don't think the Leafs can back away from any of this. I don't think they are going to back away from any of this, and this is how you win at this time of year. You need a little bit of everything, Gino. They have the high-end offense. They've added some personnel. I think they've added a coach who's not going to let them back down, and this is where we're at.
Well, Mark, after a great start with the Leafs on home ice, they've stumbled, and the second guessing is kicking back in. Game 5 should tell us a lot about how far this team has actually come.